Let's see here. Here we go. Welcome back. If you don't know where you are, then you just don't know where you are. I can't help you. You're at the big board. We're looking at Iron Curtain. And I thought it might be worthwhile having a quick look at the victory conditions. Primarily because, well, A, because I wanted to look at them because I'm about to play the scenario. And B, had a buddy text me today going, I think I'm going to wait on cracking the shrink on this game because some dude posted a review that the victory conditions are broken or fubad or horrible or something like that. So let's have a look and see what the Soviets need to do to win. The interesting thing is that in every scenario, the victory conditions are in essence the same unless they're mitigated by the specific scenario rules. But there's a section 8, that goes through the rules. So the first thing we've got to do here, in order to even try and roll for victory, you have to clear and occupy Berlin. So that's the number one head honcho, big idea behind all this, which makes sense, right? It's a primary supply route, etc., etc. In the 62 scenario, all these yellow roads that you can see here are not present. That is clear terrain or other terrain, as the case may be. So what happens? How do you win? You win once you pull the Berlin trigger. There's a phase. I think it's the Nato collapse phase or Nato surrender check phase or something like that. In that phase, we're going to roll a die, assuming this has been triggered, and if we have a reason, right, that we've accumulated, we're going to roll the die. And if the die roll is equal to or less than the number of reasons we have for that the WP owns, WP wins. Boom, thanks for playing. Basically, NATO says, bygones, we're done, right? Interesting idea. Let's see what the reasons are. There are 3 specific reasons that are available to, is it 3 or 2? That's 1. Yeah, there are 3. Okay, so the first one, it's kind of a keep NATO's hand off the nuclear weapons trigger. So if NATO releases nukes or chem weapons, in fact, before the Soviets, that becomes a trigger, or it becomes a reason, I should say. So there's 1, right? There's 2 actually. So possible victory reasons, that's 1 and 2, and then the next one is the Northern Sea Lanes. So let's have a look at that. Northern Sea Lanes comprise, let's zoom out a little bit here. It's kind of sorry about the glare, but it is what it is. We've got to capture, of course, Bornholm and Copenhagen, and then a swag of ports. There's 8 ports over there. And you can see it goes far west as Emden and as far north as Esbjerg there, and as far south as Bremen. That's a pretty tall order, although that could be this is allegedly a pretty the open plains, northern plains are supposed to be pretty straightforward, generally speaking, when we play these World War III games. There's a lot of dynamic action going on in these areas, so this might be very achievable. So that could give you a reason. That's rule 8.2a. Now so that's the Northern Sea Lanes, and then the next one is, and you're going to have. I'll get lost. You're going to have all of these ports and Copenhagen and the island and all that sort of good stuff, all at the same time and all occupied. So that sounds like kind of a tall order. We'll see. What is the other success criteria? Oh, yes, of course. That's one reason. Here's another reason. Occupying Dusseldorf, Essen and Dortmund here. I think that's Dortmund. Yeah, Dortmund. That'll give you a reason, as will having 3 units, non-airborne type, any 3 units across the river, the Rhine River. And does that say in supply? I'm assuming they would have to be. Oh, in fact, they have to be exploit capable. Well, that's everybody, pretty much, for the Warsaw Pact. Occupy at least 3 axes west of the Rhine, and it doesn't say in supply, so that's interesting. All right, so that would give you, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons. Okay, so assuming you were successful with all 5, you'd have to roll a 1 or less, and being able to subtract 5. You got a pretty good chance there of winning, right? So I think that's right. Does that make sense? If the die roll is less than or equal to the number of reasons. Okay, so we have 5 of them. I got to roll a 5 or less. I'm sorry. Yeah, math is his specialty. So there you have it. Now, we're not going to know whether that makes sense or not until we get going. So we should get going. So I'm going to get started. I'll talk to you guys soon. All the very best. Ciao.